Good afternoon, everybody. This is Greg Schlueter, and what you see around me is the beautiful woods behind our house on this fall day. And I thought it would be an appropriate setting for a few short thoughts that I have as we are experiencing a lot of calamity. Calamity politically, calamity ecclesiologically, that is within the church. And the image you see is what? Woods. We feel like we're in the wilderness, right? We hear different voices speaking of different things. They seem to be in conflict. And what's the truth? And where should we stand? And maybe the first question is, should we take a stand? So point number one, I know I'm speaking probably mostly to convicted Christians. I think there's two extremes. One extreme is the extreme of disinterest about matters in the world. That is error of thinking that God is somehow apart from history. God is apart from the things happening around us, that we can't do anything about it, that we should just kind of close up in a hole and pray, and certainly we should pray, but we should not be engaged in the world around us. But the Word became flesh. Jesus wants us to be engaged in the matters of the world. He wants us to make judgments. Read Catechism 1778. He's given us consciences to look at the world around us and to recognize what is good, true, and right. And he's called us to speak about them. So don't err on the side of disengagement, of removing the secular world and thinking it is apart from faith. We're very much called to be in the world and to be God's instruments in this world. The other extreme may be an idolatry, and that is where we're spending so much time immersed in the news and in what's happening around us that we think that something other than God is Lord, that these circumstances are somehow removed from God who's all-powerful. Now, God may not be intending a whole lot around us. It's His permissive will that is allowing a lot of the evil to happen around us. The greatest of which, I think, is a lack of transparency, is things hidden in darkness. We hear Cardinal Sarah and other beautiful, heroic voices in the church making us mindful that within the church there is an infection, there's a disease among godly brothers destined for eternity, priests, bishops, even perhaps our Pope to some extent. I'll leave that judgment to God, of letting things in the darkness remain in the darkness instead of bringing them to light. But God is overall even in His permissive will, and we ought to recognize that the final outcome is in His hands. So the final thing, I guess, that I want to say is there's nothing around us that surpasses the power of what God wants to do within us. We could spend a lot of time in the news, with our digital stuff, interacting, and I struggle with that also. But there's no moment that is greater than the time we will spend in prayer and with our families, to be an occasion of them knowing Jesus, to know God's love through us and bringing them together to talk and pray. So I want to challenge you. You want to see the world change. You want to see culture change. You want to see families change, which is Pope John Paul II said, civilization or humanity passes by way of the family. The greatest influence we have as fathers, as mothers, is in our families. Even if you didn't inherit this example from your parents, I challenge you in the next 7 days. Set aside time to meaningfully talk with your children about faith. We've made that really easy for you with Mass Impact. It's our passion. Go to ilovemyfamily.us. It's very easy. Gathering guide, new every week based upon Sunday readings. And those that are doing this, it's having a profound impact in their marriages and families. Yes, it's awkward to lean into it. Yes, it's difficult if you've never learned how to do this. Yes, it's challenging to pull our kids away from their addiction to digital devices, and maybe that's us. But if it's that difficult, maybe we should ask the question, who's got the foothold in our own homes? Who has the authority and dominion in our own homes? God has entrusted that to you and me, dads and moms. So, after viewing this, tell me you're going to do it. Report below. Just say, hey, I'm all in, Greg. We're going to try to do this. We're going to bring the family together to talk and pray because we want to see that difference. We want to receive the grace outpoured and to realize the greatest impact we can have around us is by becoming the example. It's a blessed thing in this media that God gives us to be connected in this way. And I'm truly blessed to be on the journey with you all, navigating through the forest and knowing that God has provided a way in His Son, Jesus Christ, and to, with you, seek to embrace it. Have a blessed fall day. Go Packers. God bless.